Hello, my name is Bernie Sanders, and welcome to Bernie and Friends. Today we have a very special guest, Governor of Minnesota and 2024 Vice Presidential candidate Tim Walz, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to thank you for being here today, Governor Walz. I know you're a very busy man leading a Midwestern state out of the swamp. I also want to congratulate you on one hell of a run for the White House.
And with very little time, Bernie.
Well, that is true. That is very true.
We literally had 3 months to pull this thing together and gather the trust of the American people. And I think we succeeded, Bernie. I mean, we only lost by about 247,000 votes across 3 states. We know the message resonated, but the results are in, and we have to be happy with them.
You and the American people definitely gave a bona fide cult of personality a run for his money. And by money, I'm talking about record amounts of it. From both sides, influencing the entire campaign. Trump's campaign obviously recruiting the richest guy on earth and Mars, proving he purchased Twitter to install a social state-run media to amplify and enhance propaganda, and deeming it a crusade for free speech, no less. The fucking pervert.
Well, the $1 million giveaway to buy off voters is definitely something we couldn't compete with, and left us flogging a dead horse.
Right. Well, I'm not so sure that's a good way to put it, but I agree with you, Tim. It's not like you had wanted a tycoon, Ricky Schroeder, exploiting your campaign to swindle an appointment to boondoggle some corporate welfare for his projectile dysfunction.
All for the road to nowhere, Bernie. I mean, there is no proven life on Mars. I would agree with this guy if his priorities were straight. Instead, he wants to use the American people to get himself to Mars to colonize the Musconese nation.
What? The Musconese nation?
Well, you and I both know there's a big difference between a billionaire and a real government worker, Bernie. If those two things were genuinely combined, we might be able to get some serious issues squashed in this country. But they are not. And because of the irresponsible nature of campaign funding, we're always wallowing in this mare's nest of single-issue pressure group bankroll. And until we get this behavior out of our electoral process, the percentage of personal votes will be less, and the results of elections will be skewed from what the majority of voters actually vote for.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you about that, Tim. Campaigns will make priority out of these issues and wonder how they didn't resonate with the voters. Kind of like the decision for Biden to drop out of the race. We both know that Hollywood donors didn't like Biden's debate performance and spooked them out of their wealthy contributions, ultimately disenfranchising 14 million primary voters. And although Democrats were quite unified with the choice of Kamala Harris to run, they were with Biden as well. And some of those voters may have looked the other way, knowing now how much more that money means than the will of the people. How easy is it for a small interest group to flatten the unification of 14 million voters? It really sucks the morals out of the whole process. Wouldn't you agree, Tim?
Oh, definitely I would agree, Bernie. I mean, that's the dog-eat-dog politics that only money can buy. And we both know Mr. Musk has a lot of it. I honestly think people picked to serve in the administration of the President of the United States should have pledged allegiance to the flag of freedom all the way from grades kindergarten up to at least 5th grade, Bernie.
Yeah, I could agree to that.
But regardless, and with some vigilance and even a little pushback if need be, I'm staying optimistic that those 2 billionaires can stay focused on the American people.
Well, we'll see. Now, Trump did campaign on imposing an interest limit on credit cards to 10%, and that is reasonable. If we can work on reasonable things, I'll be there. I also know that I may have been a little harsh on the Democrats, but the truth of the matter is that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The American people are angry, and they have a reason to be angry. Sometimes the elite do not understand that if the car breaks down, they don't know how to get to work. If they get sick, they don't know whether or not they can afford to go to the doctor. If your landlord raises the rent by 20%, you don't know where you're going to go or where your kids are going to go to school. That's the reality facing 60% of the American people. And meanwhile, the wealthiest people in this country have never ever had it so good. And that's the reality.
And you know, Trump manipulated that reality, Bernie, by telling people that they were hurting because millions and millions of undocumented immigrants were coming across the border, taking their jobs, invading their cities, eating their pets.
Well, you are exactly right, Tim. You know, he was able to exaggerate what this country could be without a major and constant emphasis on American poverty. Obviously, his agenda was to discredit all the good work the Biden administration has done. Democrats' lack of urgency did hurt them, though. They were focusing too much on Trump, boasting a great economy, and although they touched base on very key issues, the priority of significance escaped them. The prominence of poverty is the core issue of all these issues combined, and needed the preeminence it deserved. Do you understand, Tim?
Well, I certainly do. And poverty has gone platinum, Bernie.
So fight the powers with maximum fury.
You tell him straight up, no more tax in Missouri.
And remind him he's convicted by a federal grand jury.
They call me Tampon Tim, I throw them out by the bunches. Make sure every kid gets free breakfast and lunches. United we fight it and we took all the punches. For all that I did, I got those kissins and huggins. I'm rocking the flannel, farming the cattle, heard Kamala cackle and I never fought in battle. Motivational speaker, occupational leader, ran for vice pres as a social studies teacher. Just a regular guy with a DUI. At least I can own it and order a donut. And remember the moments running against my opponents who consistently insisted on probing the voting, who persistently, promiscuously groping the women, incoherently embarrassing, he's no Harry Truman. J.D. Vance dropped his pants and started scrumping the cushion. Trump said acid was as bad as we had when Bush won. Face is tan, but the man stays away from the sun. Shaking hands, making plans with Vlad Putin. Striking bands, selling scams with Gold Boyan. Holding hands, doing a dance with Elon Musk. Now we got way too much money in our government, influencing votes and bills, driving the cost up of pills. The voters voted in a bunch of grifters and chills. We're drinking Diet Cola in the state of Minnesota, where it's colder than Europa, blowing snow with my Kubota. That's how we get our fitness. You can come and be a witness. I'd prefer that you didn't and mind your own damn business.